Good evening, good evening, good evening. Alethea. Hey, boss. Alethea, how are you? What up, Stacy? Girl, where you been at? Hello, good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Girl, it's cold outside, ain't it? We got to get to having a real conversation about how we're gonna protect our both our edges and the ends of our hair. It's gonna be a cold winter. A cold winter. I'm glad you're good, boss. Girl, I get it. I get it. I know what you meant. Hey, Alicia. Alicia, oh shoot. I what am I looking for? Alicia, I have to add you on what up, Joy? I have to add you on TikTok so I can make sure I don't so I can just tap in next time. Hey, boss. Hello, hello, hello. What up, Joy? YouTube, Facebook. Hey, boss. And Jerry, hi. Soraya, didn't you place an order? Hey, Miss Sherrod. Alicia, we're missed. Soraya, what did you order? We got a couple minutes and then we'll get started. Please, while we're waiting, we'll give it about 2 minutes. Please make sure you grab your water and come back. Let me know when you're back, please. Alicia, go ahead, grab your water. Miss Abra, grab your water. Cody, hey boss. Cody, grab your water and come back and let us know when you're back, please. Hey boss. Boss, we're getting ready to settle into class. Please grab your water before we get started. Alicia, you got your water? Anybody else? Are we ready? Hey boss, good evening. Happy Sunday. D, you got your water? Do me a favor, boss, while we're waiting for everybody to come in to class and for class to start, grab your water and then let us know when you're back and you're ready. What up, Shatima? Shatima, how's your sewing? Do you love it? Alicia, are you staying on? Are you staying over here? Are you going over to What up? What up, Maya? Um, Alicia, are you staying over here? Or are you going over to Facebook with your friends to act up, cut up? We got about another minute or so. And we'll get started with class. Hey, boss. You're trying. Shatima, do you at least have your water? Alicia, don't come over here. Okay? Don't come over here on Instagram corrupting the Instagram people. Okay? All right, are we ready? Everybody got their water? All right, we are going to talk about a couple of things. I'm telling you now, if you have been, if you've liked the tips that we've been giving on our text list, if you like the exclusive things like the chart, the Amazon list for products, for silk presses and things like that, I'm telling you right now, you might want to join on Facebook and YouTube, because we're dropping a chart, a winter hair chart, a winter wash day chart based on your hair type. So fine, medium, or coarse hair. We're dropping a hair chart only on YouTube or Facebook today. All right, Miss Sassy and Classy, we're back. Soraya, we're back. Soraya, I asked you, girl, what did you? I seen your name on the purchase list. What did you buy? Hey, Miss Bailey. Alicia, they're calling for you over there. I just can't. I'm not. Okay. Are we ready? Can we get started? All right. Are we ready? Can we get started? Just type Y if you're ready. Type Y for yes if you're ready. Type Y for yes if you're ready. Ready, Kalita? Type Y in the chat if you're ready, please. Shatima, I'm so grateful that you're in this class, girl, especially now in a protective style. Type Y in the chat if you're ready. Do that for me, please. Okay, now I'm going to give y'all this one more time. Okay, if you're on Instagram, we're happy to have you. Okay, you can please take as much of this information as you possibly can to get you through the winter and making sure your hair is at its optimal health. But I'm telling you right now, I am only giving that chart that breaks down what your wash day could look like in the winter. If you have fine hair, medium hair, or coarse hair, I'm only giving that chart out to Facebook and YouTube. So you might want to join over there, especially when we go over that part. Are we ready? Hey, Corlethea. And Jury. It's not a growth oil, so don't tell people that your edges are growing. It's not a growth oil. People will get the misconception that their hair is going to grow. We're just, you know what I mean? It's just, let's just say, you know, you can take the credit for this one. We don't want the people being misconceived. Okay, are we ready? All right. Good evening, boss. My name is Ebony K. I'm the owner of Textured Press, and what I do is teach women every single thing I know about healthy hair. This is a place where confidence grows, and hopefully your hair will too. What up, Mo? Ms. Mac, I'm glad you made it to class so your hair don't look like that woman in the stories, right? Right? Hey, Brooke. Okay, tonight we're going to go over a couple of things, right? We're going to go over a moisture-based routine, a moisture-focused routine. We're going to talk about treatments, right? We're going to talk about who needs those kinds of treatments, when you need to do particular treatments, when you need to be using moisturizing products, why it matters, right? And we'll go over some of my favorite products for you to be using in the winter. Okay, we ready? Now, let me ask you a question. Who experiences a high point of shedding in the winter? Who experiences more shedding in the winter? Put your hand up in the comments, please. Who experiences more shedding in the winter? Hey, Gwendolyn. Kalita? More shedding? Sonia, you too? Who experiences more shedding? Brooke, you too? Erica? Okay. All right. So here's my next question. Okay. Who of us uses basically the same products all year round? Right? If you really love, I'm just going to throw out some product lines. If you use Amika's Decor or Mielle Organics strengthening shampoo and conditioner, who uses the same products all throughout the year? It's all right, Soraya. And Gloria, don't you come in here. Gloria, I'm about to ask you to tell on yourself, because that was a crazy thing for you to do in the DMs. That was a crazy thing for you to do in the DMs. Who uses the same products all year round? Same products all year round, right? Okay. All right. We're going to talk about why using the same products all year round is probably setting you up for an increase in shedding in the winter. Okay? We're going to talk about how you can make a change and how you can really maximize the products that you already have, so that this way hopefully you don't have to buy anything new. Okay? Who's home? Who's home and can go run and grab some of their products right now? Who's home and can go grab some of their products right now? If you can do that right now, go grab your products right now. While they're grabbing their products, if you're home and you can grab your products, please go grab your products right now. While other people are going to grab their products, if you already know what you're using off the top of your head, if it's moisture focused or protein focused, and if you're an OG around here, we know how to identify moisture versus protein, right? Yes. Okay, thank you. Now, here's why it's really important for you to make a shift or a change. In the winter, the air is colder. Because the air is colder, what do you think that means for your hair? It's less flexible, right? The cold air makes your hair less flexible, right? Very similar to when you think about like wax in the summer versus wax in the winter, right? Wax is more soft, it's more pliable in the warmer months, right? When it's cold outside, wax becomes really hard and firm. Does that make sense? Right? So in the colder months, your hair is less flexible. Your hair is more firm, right? Now imagine Stacy, right? We're going to take Stacy for example. Imagine Stacy is a straight hair natural. And before coming to class, Stacy she's never been to Texture Press Healthy Hair University. She's never sat in one of these classes. She has no idea about what we talk about around here, right? So Stacy is at home. Stacy's a straight hair natural. Stacy saw on YouTube that straight hair naturals need more protein, right? Straight hair naturals need more protein because the more you straighten your hair, the more susceptible it is to you are to losing your curl, and protein helps replenish your curl, right? Or maintain your curl, right? That's Stacy's situation. It's wintertime now. Stacy is using the Olaplex system, right? The number 3, which is the protein treatment, the number 4 and the number 5, right? The strengthening shampoos, conditioners, right? Or the moisturizing shampoo and then the strengthening or the bond rebuilding conditioner, right? Stacy's doing, because she's a straight hair natural, in the winter, Stacy is continuing with the theme of using protein so that she doesn't lose her texture. If what we know is that winter makes our hair more stiff and less flexible, while Stacy is using a protein treatment and a moisturizing shampoo, but a protein-focused conditioner, what do you think is going to be happening with strengthening products being used on hair that is already not flexible? What do we think is likely to happen if Stacy continues to use strengthening shampoos, conditioners, treatments in the winter when her hair is already less flexible? 100%, Stacy. Thank you, Injury. Come on, J. Nicole. There we go, Soraya. There we go, Carla. Exactly, Joy. Exactly, Ms. Mack. And so when Stacy comes to sit in Texture Press's chair, right? Stacy, she's like, finally got an appointment. I'm going to sit with the boss lady, get some healthy hair coaching, get a bomb little silk press, and be up out the door, right? In conversation, in our consultation, I asked Stacy, does she ever notice when she has a high point in shedding? Stacy's like, yes, actually. Every year around Thanksgiving, Christmas, the New Year, I don't know if it's because I'm stressed or what, but I always have an increase in shedding. And I'm like, are you sure it's shedding? or is it breakage? Stacey's like, well, what the hell is the difference? I'm like, well, shedding usually is longer pieces. Breakage means it's shorter pieces. Stacey's like, oh no, it is usually shorter pieces. It's not really, there is some breakage, more breakage happening in the winter. What would you tell Stacey to do? Hey, Miss BK Queen. Y'all, Alicia just entered the chat, y'all. I ain't got but 40 more minutes for this live. Y'all come over here and act right up in this live. What would you suggest? Now, since you're over here, Alicia, what would you suggest for Stacey? Exactly, Miss Bailey. Exactly. Right? You want to add more moisture. You want to add more hydration so that this way your hair can become more flexible. Hey, Jocelyn. So that this way your hair can become more flexible and less rigid. Protein treatments for sure. You shouldn't be doing them at home anyway. But unless something is really, really wrong with your hair, you shouldn't need a protein treatment in the winter. Why is that? Because in the winter, what naturally happens to your hair? Carla, how can we do what? What up, Stace? Carla, how can we do what? Jessica, how did I know that was you? Jessica and Alicia, y'all come in here, y'all act right. Why? Why do we want to implement more moisture? Why do we want to implement more moisture and stay away from protein treatments in the wintertime? To reduce breakage, right? Here's what also happens in the wintertime. A lot of us are wearing a lot of scarves, right? On the nape of our neck, the cotton, the wool, right? Cotton and wool is literally it's meant to absorb moisture, right? Which is why for women in particular, right? Our undergarments, we're encouraged to use more cotton so that it absorbs moisture. If your cotton scarves, if your cotton neckline or cotton lined coats, sweaters, etc., they're taking moisture from your hair, right? And so we have to be sure to replenish it somehow. Who knows what my very first suggestion is going to be? Who knows what in order to increase the way that your hair retains moisture, who knows what my very first suggestion is going to be? Exactly, Injury is going to eat the nape of your neck right up. No kitchen whatsoever. Okay? No kitchen, no living room, no dining room. Close, Moni. A step before that. There we go, Jocelyn. Jocelyn, I'm telling you now. Okay, we're putting together a chart so that this way you can take a look and see what kind of wash day sequence you can use for the winter based on if your hair is fine, medium, or coarse. But I'm only giving that list to YouTube and Facebook, so you might want to go over there. What's the first step? Drink more water. Jocelyn said it. Drink more water. In an effort to make sure your hair is hydrated, in an effort to make sure your scalp is hydrated, drink more water. The average adult should be at the bare minimum. The average adult should be drinking at the bare minimum 64 ounces of water. And Jerry, how much water did you have today? Moni, how much water did you have today? Jessica, how much water did we have today? Jocelyn, how much water did we have today? And do you have your water in class right now, Jocelyn? 100%, Carla. Drink more water. What also makes water absorption, moisture absorption easier? 100%, Stacey. 80 would be ideal, but at the very least, 64 ounces. Brooke? At the very least, 64 ounces. If you're not doing, listen to me. If you're not drinking any water at all, I want you to work on drinking 2 16-ounce Poland Spring bottles, right? If you're not drinking any water at all these days, I want you to work on drinking 2 Poland Spring bottles every day, Sunday to Sunday, not just when you're going to work, right? Not just on the days that you work from home. No. If you're not drinking any water at all, 2 Poland Spring bottles every day. One before you leave the door. Drink one 16-ounce bottle of water before you leave, and one 16-ounce bottle throughout the day at work. If you're not drinking any water at all, if you're drinking about 30 to 40 ounces, let's get up to 64 ounces a day, please. Thank you. Go grab your water. One of the other things that makes absorbing your body's ability to absorb moisture, to hold on and to retain moisture, is making sure that you are not deficient in vitamins. All right, Jocelyn, there we go. Jocelyn, I'm here for my blessing. I can't. Because we're inside more, what's one vitamin that you can become more deficient in because we're indoors more during the winter? Brooke? Stacy? What's a vitamin that you're going to be more deficient of because we're indoors? 100%. 100%, Shatima. Vitamin D. Exactly. Now, I'm gonna say this real quick so that we don't get banned, and hopefully, when people start shopping around and seeing if brands start shopping around and see if they want to work with us, they don't say no. So I'm gonna say this real quick because we were kidnapped and brought here, and because we're on stolen land, and our skin thrives in the sun. Our skin thrives on vitamin D because we're here and we're not supposed to be. You know what I mean? Even more so than anybody else, we need to make sure that we're up on our vitamin D levels. If you think that you're depressed, sometimes it's just because your vitamin D levels are low. Wow. You know, maybe you don't need a Xanax. Maybe you just need to be on the beach. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, you know, your vitamin D levels, your vitamin B levels, right? Zinc as well. So when you have your physician's visit, we're coming up on a new year. So we're coming up on a new year. So a lot of us should be due to get a full blood panel. Make sure that your physician is checking your vitamin levels, not just the surface level ones, not just iron, not just C. No, all of them. Okay, a deep dive, and not just like, are you in the range? Like, are my levels good? Okay. Okay. Another way that you can, what up, Jen? Another way that you can start to implement more moisture into your routine is by deep conditioning. That's something that you can do at home, right? Use less protein. And when you are deep conditioning, you're using a moisture focused conditioner. Okay. Now, what's my favorite deep conditioner, y'all? What's my favorite deep conditioner, Jennifer? Carla, what's my favorite deep conditioner? Soraya? I don't know is a perfectly acceptable answer around here, but please don't make me talk to myself. Jen, Martuli, what's my favorite deep conditioner? The one you use in my hair. Get out. If it ain't Alicia, it's you. Get out. Jocelyn, that's my favorite deep conditioner. I want you to know. Listen, I'm gonna mute myself. Soraya, I'm gonna mute myself for just 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna talk to Instagram for just 1 second. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, D. Thank you, Injury. Corlethia, the sound name will go out. I told y'all I was going to mute y'all for a second. Exactly, Jocelyn. Okay. Tashia? No, not the humecto. Definitely not the humecto. Tashia? Definitely not the humecto. Love Caracare's hydrating detangling. I love a lot of Caracare's products. That humecto, though, not it. I do not believe in deep conditioners. I don't believe in deep conditioners. Deep conditioners are a marketing ploy. If your Joico moisture recovery conditioner is not good enough to give you a different kind of result, longer lasting softness, when you just add the element of heat, we're not doing something right. I don't believe in deep conditioners. The Joico moisture recovery conditioner is good enough that if you just add the element of heat, it will give you longer lasting results. Now, let me tell you how you can really rock your socks. Okay? You know what I mean? Have that gentleman running his fingers through your hair, complimenting how soft it is. You know what I'm saying? He get to asking, can you use it on his beard? You know what I'm saying? You tell him, no, baby, not the good stuff. You know? We can use conditioner on your beard. You know what I mean? Not this good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, how you really change the game is when you go and you sit with your stylist. If you bring your own products, Kalita brings her own products to the salon, right? You bring your own products. You bring your Care hydrating tingling shampoo. Boom, moisture from the shampoo, right? Softness at the shampoo phase. Then you add the Joico moisture recovery conditioner, and you let Maria sit you up underneath a steamer. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah, thank me later. Thank me later. Deep conditioning you can do at home to give you longer lasting results, but to maximize softness, ask for a steam treatment. Repeat what? How you tell that man he can't use your good conditioner on his beard? Okay. And Jury's asking, does a handheld steamer count? And Jury was not on Texture Press's page the other day when I was really talking my talk about how I feel about handheld steamers. Repeat what about the steamer, boss Soraya? You put the Joico moisture recovery conditioner on your hair, sit up underneath the steamer. Let Maria do it. I heard my stylist was going sloppy. Girl, no. Where's the steam going in your handheld steamer? What up, Melly? Where's the steam going in the handheld steamer? You need a cover. You need to cover your hair so that the steam gets all over your hair. If a handheld steamer was really good, I would probably be using it in the salon. Okay, Soraya. Deep conditioning is adding the element of heat, right? So deep conditioning at home could look like, you use a microwavable cap, yeah, and leave that on for like 10 to 15 minutes. Deep conditioning at home could look like if you have a hooded dryer, you sit under there for 10 to 15 minutes. It could look like if you have a bonnet dryer, you sit under there for 10 or 15 minutes. If you are sitting with a stylist and your stylist has a steamer, then there is heat coming out of the machine. Is that what you're talking about? What's the name of the shampoo? The Care Hydrating Detangling Shampoo. The Care Hydrating Detangling Shampoo. Thank you, Erica. The steam from that handheld steamer is going in the air. Your apartment is gonna feel just a little more moist than it did before. What if I get under a towel? How long are you gonna do that for, Injury? You gonna stand under a towel with your handheld steamer? How long are you gonna do that for? How much dexterity do you have to do that for? If it's for a consistent 15 minutes, sure, have at it. Thank you. The steamer is not going to, a heat cap is not going to take the place of a steamer, but it will hold you over until you can sit with someone who has a steamer, a professional who has a steamer. Exactly, Jennifer. It's not this, steam is not going on your hair. How do I feel about design essentials? Can someone who is an OG tell Moni how I feel about design essentials? Moni, all right, look, I ain't got but like 20 more minutes. Listen to me, Moni. I want to love design essentials. I've wanted to love them so bad. And I know that people like love the honey cream or the oatmeal, whatever, and the avocado. Bro, I have, as a stylist, I know that the internet likes to make stylists look like we have a lot of money, but my money is really special to me. And every time I hand it out, a little piece of my heart breaks. You know what I'm saying? I've had my heart broken by design essentials way too many times, so much so that I vowed they'll never get my money again. You know what I mean? Thank you, Meredith. Tis a trigger. You know what I'm saying? Injury. Sorry, baby. Sorry, love. What about luster pink products? Sonia, I will say, you'll never find them in this salon, so do with that information what you will. Okay, listen, in order for your hair to absorb moisture consistently, clarifying shampoos are also really important. How is a clarifying shampoo, how is a shampoo that strips your hair of moisture going to be helpful in the winter? Here's how. Because if there is consistent product buildup, your really great Cara Care Hydrating Detangling Shampoo, your amazing Joico Moisture Recovery Conditioner, is not going to be able to penetrate into the hair strand and do its job if you have product buildup on the hair strands, right? So every once in a blue moon, even in the winter, you want to still use a clarifying shampoo, okay? Some ways that you can continue to make sure that you are maintaining the softness or the moisture in your hair after you get a steam treatment is making sure that you have satin or silk lined what? Not pillowcases. Do not say pillowcases. Satin or silk in an effort to make sure that you are retaining the moisture in your hair. At night, you should be using a satin or silk what? And do not say pillowcase. Soraya, I would only use a clarifying shampoo with a professional if I could. If you're not going to sit with a professional consistently, then maybe about once every 6 to 8 weeks. Exactly. A satin bonnet, a satin scarf, a silk bonnet, a silk scarf. Okay? Your pillowcase is not going to cut it. You need both. Your pillowcase is only if your bonnet or your scarf falls off. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Ms. Mack. Thank you, Erica. Okay? How often can you do a steam treatment in the salon? If I'm asking that you guys do steam treatments, how often can you do them in the salon? Or how often can you do them? Excuse me. Let's say, how often can you do a steam treatment in the winter? Thank you, Ms. Sherrod. Do you do it every week? Marquita, my favorite clarifying shampoo is by Paul Mitchell, the Shampoo 2. My second favorite is the Detox Shampoo by K18. Okay, Buffreak. Here's the thing. Here's my professional opinion. If you're implementing moisture at home on wash day, right, consistently, right? If you're implementing moisture at home and you have the right cadence at home, every 3 weeks for a steam treatment feels excessive to me, right? So every 2 months or so, lean into a steam treatment. Every 2 months or so, from the fall to the winter, lean into a steam treatment. I think every 3 weeks is excessive if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing at home. I would do about every 6 to 8 weeks, Stacey. Sure. The K18 is the detox shampoo by K18. Okay. One of the things that I love about steam treatments, let's talk about this. We're talking about steam treatments. Let me talk about why it's actually going to be beneficial to you. One of the things that I love about steam treatments is the heat that comes out of the machine is going to do what? What does heat do to the cuticle? What does heat do to the cuticle? What does heat do to the hair strand? Thank you, Injury. It raises the cuticle on the hair strand, right? And so even if it was just even if you were just deep conditioning, think about this. Even if you were just deep conditioning, exactly, it opens up the cuticle. Even if you were just deep conditioning, the cuticle would be raised and the Joico Moisture Recovery Conditioner that's sitting on top of your hair would be able to penetrate and do its job much better, right? Get into the second layer of hair, right? Even if you were using just heat. Now, what's undeniable, we're not even going to argue about the multi-layered benefits of using a steamer. What's coming out of the machine while the cuticle is raised and the Joico Moisture Recovery is seeping into the second layer of hair because the cuticle is now open, but now there's water coming out of the machine. That steam is, come on now. Don't be come on now. Steam is water, moisture, hydration. Steam is water. So imagine water infiltrating, going inside the hair strand. You're able to take all of those benefits from the steamer. The benefits from the water are still staying behind, right? Keeping your hair hydrated even after your hair is dry. Would you do a steam treatment along with a clarifying shampoo? So yes. So I would use a clarifying shampoo and then the Keracare Hydrating Detangling Shampoo and then the Joico Moisture Recovery Conditioner on top of there and sit my client underneath the steamer. I would 100% do that. That's the benefit. That's the marvelous thing about sitting with a professional and getting a professional steam treatment or a hydration treatment, right? Now, think about what happens if you're doing if protein is on top of there, right? Now your strengthener is going deeper inside of the hair strand and starting to make your hair stronger from the inside. So in the winter, what do you want on top of your hair? A strengthener or a moisturizer? More consistently. What do you want on top of your hair in the winter? A strengthener or a moisturizer? Hey, boss. 100%. Okay? Now, what can you do about the nape of your neck? Right? When we're wearing, our boyfriend's hoodies, right? Sneaking them out the house, right? His hoodies is not satin lined. Hey, Jada. His hoodies are not satin lined, right? You're going to put your hat on, your wool hat, your favorite fuzzy wool hat. You put that on because it's cold. It ain't but 7 degrees outside, right? And this one doesn't have a satin line. You got it from your grandmother. She was born in 1907. Satin line hoodies and hats wasn't their jam, right? So what do? You can use your rose gold oil, right? On the ends of your hair in particular. What do you do about the nape of your neck? You can use a little bit of rose gold oil on the nape of your neck because what is a moisturizer? A lubricant, creating a barrier between your hair and other elements. What up, Bria? Right? So you can use your rose gold oil if you're not interested, if you're a crazy lady, you know what I mean? And you're not interested in our sale December 3rd. If you're a crazy lady and you're not interested in getting the hair and body butter on December 3rd, no problem. I'll tell you how you can get around it. You can use a little bit of vitamin E oil, and it can be the vitamin E that you ingest, right? The capsule, the gel capsule. You poke a little hole in it, squeeze a little bit of the vitamin E, and just a little bit, rub it along the nape of your neck. Okay? I put my hair up in a claw in the winter. Cashmere usually eats my hair up, so I can never let it touch my scalp. 100%. 100%. It's drying, right? And that fleece material, when your hair is rubbing up against that fleece material, which is another reason why you shouldn't be sleeping with cotton pillowcases, right? Or nylon pillowcases, because your hair being rubbed against the cashmere, against the wool, against the cotton, is going to be drying your hair out. Okay? Who needs to be implementing more moisture? Does everyone need to implement more moisture? Kalita has fine hair and medium density. Does Kalita need to implement more moisture? 100%. You know what I mean? Grab a hold on you and won't let you go. You know, take no prisoners, you know? All right, Miss Sassy and Classy says that Kalita does need to be implementing more moisture. Kalita has fine hair and medium density. Should Kalita be implementing more moisture? Fine hair is typically needing more protein because it's essentially missing a layer of protein, right? But in the winter, is that the same? Does Kalita need more moisture? Mm-hmm. Yes. Kalita still needs more moisture. Okay? If Kalita has fine hair, and fine hair typically needs more protein, then how is Kalita going to implement more moisture? If Kalita washes her hair, let's say the 1st, the 10th, and the 20th of every month, right? In a perfect world, Kalita washes her hair 3 times in a month. Okay? Listen to me, Instagram. You might want to head over to Facebook and or YouTube, Instagram. Right? I'm telling this is your last. This is the last warning. You might want to head over to Facebook and or YouTube, Instagram. Okay? Now, let's say Kalita washes her hair 3 times in a month. The 1st, the 10th, and the 20th. Kalita has fine hair, so her hair needs protein because it's essentially missing a layer of protein, right? That's why it's so skinny. That's why it's so easy to break, right? So on the 1st, Kalita could use her protein-focused shampoo, a moisture-focused conditioner, and then a protein-focused leave-in conditioner. On that wash day, she's given her hair protein on the front end and pause on the back end. Okay? That's the 1st. On the 10th, Kalita could be using her protein-focused shampoo and conditioner and a moisture-focused leave-in conditioner. And then on the 20th, Kalita could use a moisture-focused shampoo, her Carrot Care Hydrating Detangling Shampoo. She could use her hydrating shampoo, her protein-focused conditioner, and then a moisture-focused leave-in conditioner. So now she's giving her hair moisture on the front end, moisture on the back end, but she never forgot that protein because protein is essential to fine hair, right? Now, if you want to see, if I have fine hair, how can I implement more moisture if protein is still important? Here's what you're going to do. Are you ready? I'm telling you, I told y'all. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to text the word winter. WINTER. Text winter. Okay? WINTER to 347-802-0953. Now, y'all know good and well not to type winter here. Text winter, WINTER, to 347-802-0953. 3. You're going to text winter so that we're going to drop the calendar is going to drop in 2 days. Okay. You're going to get a calendar that looks like 3 different wash days and how you can implement more moisture, even though I encourage you to use protein still. Okay. How do you get the calendar? You're going to text the word winter, WINTER, to 347-802-0953. You got it? Everybody got it? I am still an advocate that your hair needs both moisture and protein. But imagine if Injuri, right, or Soraya, imagine if Soraya has really, really coarse hair and she's like, I can't use protein in the winter. The calendar is going to give you ways that you can implement more hydration, more moisture, while not forgetting about the protein piece. Okay? I'm telling y'all, get over to Facebook or YouTube so that you can get the information that you're looking for. I told y'all. Okay? Exactly. So Soraya is going to look on the calendar and she's going to say, okay, today is the 10th. This is how I should be using. This is the kind of shampoo I should use, the conditioner I should use, and whether or not I should be steaming or a deep conditioning on this wash day. It's going to give you what you can do. Okay? Now, this is very general. What happens if you don't like how your hair feels after you follow all of the directions on the calendar? Stop. If what I tell you is not working for you, stop doing what I'm telling you. Yes? If for whatever reason or reasons, right? Because my program, albeit very strict, my program does not fit everyone. My program does not fit everyone. And so if you decide that what I suggest on this calendar, you don't love how your hair feels, stop doing what's on the calendar. Okay? Here's why making these changes is going to be really important. How many of us want to retain hair that is healthy? How many of us want to just be like, my hair is way more predictable. My wash day, I've cut down by 25 to 50% because my hair is easier to detangle. Its wash day is way more predictable. It does not take me as long. Styling my hair does not take me as long. How many of us want to be in a position where our hair is significantly healthier? The Sexy Hair Leave-In Conditioner has both moisture and protein, right? That's why this is important. That's why making this change and not using protein from January to December is going to be important to you. Your hair needs different things, very similar to skincare, right? Jessica is a skin influencer, right? A skincare influencer. The same way your skin needs different products in the winter than it does in the spring and the summer, it's not different for your hair. It's not different for your scalp. Soraya, did you use any of the products that you ordered from Texture Press yet? And if you're still having a hard time on wash day, I want to talk to you about what we're using and how we can get you to an easier wash day. The Sexy Hair So You Want It All leave-in conditioner has both moisture and protein. Okay? If you want hair that is longer and hair that is fuller, you have to reduce your breakage. If you want hair that is longer, hair that is fuller, you have to reduce the amount of shedding you experience. And because a lot of us, we talked about this before when class started, right? Because a lot of us experience more breakage and more shedding in the winter. in the winter, likely because we're not drinking enough water and we're vitamin D deficient now, or vitamin deficient, period. We're seeing an increase in shedding, right? If you want hair that is longer and that is fuller, you have to make some changes. One of the easier things to change, honestly, is to drink more water. Hey, Miss 415, did you bring your water to class? One of the things that you can do on December 3rd to make your life easier so that you are reducing your shedding and reducing your breakage is make sure you have that hydration kit in your cart. It has the Keracare Hydrating Detangling Shampoo in the kit. It has the Moisture Recovery Conditioner by Joico. Hey, Annabelle. It has the Joico Moisture Recovery Conditioner in the kit, which are both your softeners, right? But it also has the Sexy Hair Core Flex, because what do we know, Marquita? What do we know, Soraya? What do we know, Alicia? On wash day, you should be giving your hair both moisture and what? On wash day, you should be giving your hair both moisture and what? Thank you, Soraya. Thank you, Injiri. 100%, Cody. Balance. Thank you, Jessica. Moisture or hydration and protein. Okay, so we're going to recap a couple of things real quick. Okay, we ready? Put ready in the chat. Put ready in the comment section. Put ready in the comment section and we'll do a recap real quick. Put ready in the comment section and we'll do a recap real quick. Are we ready? Are we ready? All right, excellent. The first thing that we're going to be making, the first change that we're going to be making so that we can make sure we're retaining more moisture, our hair is retaining more moisture and our scalp is more moisturized, making it easy for your follicles to stay intact. You're going to increase your water intake. Type water in the comments, please. Type water in the comments. That's the number one thing that we're going to start doing right now, Juanita. Right now, Juanita. Miss 515, Miss Sugar Bee. Right now. Water. Thank you. Thank you, Kwani, sorry. Thank you, Soraya. Thank you, Zadie. Thank you, Injiri. Thank you, Shatima. Water. That's the number one thing you're going to do. The second thing you're going to do is as soon as you possibly can, okay? As soon as you possibly can, you are going to get a full blood panel because you want to know both what vitamins and minerals your body is deficient of. Even if you're borderline, you want to know that because if you're borderline, it'll be easy for you to fall over into deficient, right? 100% injury. You're going to make sure you're not vitamin D deficient, right? Because we're in the house more, we're getting less sunlight. You want to make sure you're not vitamin D deficient because that directly affects your hair growth, okay? Vitamin K, zinc, iron, sodium, 100%, 100%. We be thinking we're depressed, you know what I mean? Popping them Xannies at 7:45 every night, a little glass of Chardonnay on the side, you know what I mean? Swoosh it down whole time. You just need you know what I'm saying? You just need a little vitamin D. Zadie, I'll tell you the website, okay? Zadie, I'll tell you the website, but everything is sold out because we're preparing for our biggest event of the year, which is the birthday sale on December 3rd. Okay? Miss Flair. You know what I mean? Little Zanny, you know, a little Chardonnay. You know what I'm saying? Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? Sounds like a party to me, but it could just really be that you're vitamin D deficient. You know what I mean? You're not a drug addict. You just needed some vitamin D, you know? Okay? We're going to start deep conditioning a lot more consistently. And that could look like once a month. That could look like every 6 weeks. You'll see it on the calendar, right? Miss Lynn, we don't judge. You know what I mean? I'm not a Chardonnay girl. If I was taking Xanax, I would be washing it down with a little sweet Riesling. If I was me, you know? If it was me, you know what I'm saying? We are going to deep condition a bit more consistently. We're going to use less protein, not no protein. Okay? Even if you feel like your hair is low porosity, right? Moscato for me. What kind of wine you drinking? If you had, you know, I'm not saying anyone should be taking Xanax, but if you were to pop a little pill, you know, what's your drink of choice? You know what I'm saying? In jury, what would be in a hypothetical situation? You know what I'm saying? What would be your drink of choice? I like a sweet Riesling. You know what I mean? Miss Maflair's a little Moscato. You know what I mean? Because it's winter, you can't eliminate the protein. You can use it in a way that makes sense for you when it comes to protein. Okay? You want to make sure that you're still using a clarifying shampoo. What do you use for low porosity hair? Every product I use in the salon, I don't care what porosity you have. Exactly, Chris. A little whiskey. What's your whiskey of choice? A little Jack Daniels, you know? Every product in here I use everything I use in this salon. I use on all hair types, all hair textures, all hair porosities, girl. That don't matter. Okay, you're going to use a clarifying shampoo still, right? Because in order for your moisturizing products to take, in order for your deep conditioning to work, in order for you to really be able to hold on to moisture or softness when you are when you're using your Joico moisture recovery products, you can't have product buildup on there because it's not going to penetrate, right? You're going to have the product sitting on top of your hair, making it much harder for your hair to receive moisture and softness. Okay. So a clarifying shampoo once every 6 to 8 weeks or so, okay? You're going to ask for what kind of treatment when you're in the salon? What kind of treatment are you going to ask for in the salon to make sure that your hair is able to be soft but remain soft for longer periods of time? A steam treatment, okay? You're going to wear a bonnet or a silk or satin bonnet or scarf, not just a silk or satin pillowcase, okay? A silk or satin bonnet or scarf in addition to a silk or satin pillowcase, okay? Oh, sorry. I wanted to mention this. A lot of times what we're doing is let's say I'll speak for myself, right? Let's say I needed a hysterectomy, or let's say I needed to get my fibroids removed, right? Or let's say I had carpal tunnel and needed surgery on my wrist, right? Hypothetically speaking. What I would do is probably hold off until the winter because I was going to be inside anyway. Get all my outside activities, pop all my Xannies, and drink all my sweet Rieslings in the summertime so that in the winter I can have my surgery and rest because I was going to be down anyway. You understand what I'm saying? If in the event you decide to have your medical procedures in the winter, okay, make sure you're doing large cornrows, large braids, because if you're going to be on bed rest, the last thing you want is mini twists, okay? I mean, unless you were already going to get sister locks, the last thing you want is mini twists, okay? All right, now back to this recap. Treatments, you're going to ask for a steam treatment when you're in the salon. It's great for penetrating your moisturizing conditioner and water into your hair strand. Okay. If You want to protect the nape of your neck and or your hairline against your hats, your hoods, your scarves, your neckline for your nape line, your nape line from your collars. You can take a little vitamin E. Okay. You can take a little vitamin E, a vitamin E gel capsule, or just regular vitamin E out the bottle, just a little bit, and run it along the nape of your neck, so that this way it creates a barrier between your hair and the scarf, your hair and the sweater, right? Less friction. Or you can use your rose gold oil, which will restock December 3rd. Or you can use your hair and body butter that I made flick at my wrist myself. You know what I mean? That will be available, that will be included with your purchase of a trio and a kit December 3rd. Okay? Everyone, I don't care what hair porosity you have, what hair type, or what hair texture, everyone needs to increase their moisture in the winter because the air is drier, your house is warmer, sucking the moisture from your hair paws. Your hair is less flexible. Do not use a clarifying shampoo every wash day. No. Please do not use a clarifying shampoo every wash day. No. If you want to make sure that you're on the list for the hair and body butter, you're going to want to text butter, BUTTER. You're going to want to text butter to 347-802-0953. You're going to text butter if you want to make sure you don't miss the restock. If you want to make sure you don't miss a chance to get the hair and body butter, you want to text the word butter, BUTTER, to 347-802-0953. Okay? You want to make these changes because healthier, fuller, longer hair is the goal. That's why you sat here for an hour and 5 minutes and heard me chitter-chatter. You know? Zadie, I am currently in Middletown, New York, but I also am in Midtown, New York on the weekend. And if you want a calendar for what wash day should look like in the winter, if your hair is fine versus medium versus coarse, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna text to 347-802-0953. Alicia, don't. And it's you and Jessica again. The butter I would use on fine hair if the fine hair was in a protective style. Yes. If you have fine hair and you feel like butters in general are too heavy for your hair, you can use it for your body. It's a hair and body butter. Are you going to text calendar to get the calendar? They on Instagram they're asking, are you going to text calendar to get the calendar? They're asking on Instagram. You know? All right, did we learn something new today? The calendar drops in 48 hours. Katina, I told you what to do. Katina, that's not how you. Somebody tell Katina how to get the calendar, please. Zadie, somebody tell Katina how to get the calendar, please. Before we get up out of here, somebody tell Katina how to get the calendar, please. Juanita, I'm so glad you were here. I'm getting out of here. Okay? The next drop, everything restocks with the exception of the sexy hair, so you want it all leave-in. Everything restocks December 3rd. The butter is going to be a free gift. Okay, the butter is going to be a free gift. You can use it on your hair, you can use it on your body, you can use it on your skin. The butter is going to be a free gift, so as long as supplies last, with the purchase of every trio and every kit. So if you're out of shampoos and conditioners, if you're out of your oils, or your black magic oil, your rose gold oil, your shampoo shots, and you need to re-up, this is going to be the time to do that. The butter is going to be free. Listen to me. I do not make this butter often. It is such a labor of love. But every time the girls get it, they hold on. I have a boss lady in my DMs not right now. I have a boss lady in my DMs 3 weeks ago tell me that she's been holding on to her one little jar of butter since 2022. Okay? The butter is everything she need to be. All right? All right, we're going to go live December 3rd. It's going to be our next really big event. It's always a good time. You know what I mean? It's always a good time. We laugh, we kiki. I answer questions, hair related, product related. And I'm excited for that. When is your birthday? December 3rd. Duh. 12/3 is the sale. Okay? 12/3 is the sale. And in order for you to get 20% off of your purchase, you have to be on our text list or on our email list. Okay, you have to be in our community, not just on Facebook, not just on YouTube, not just on Instagram. You have to be in our community. So you can be a part of our text community. You can be part of our email community, but you have to be in our community in order for you to get 20% off of your purchase. Okay, I'm grateful that you guys learned something today. All right. Any other questions? All right. Enjoy the rest of your evening. If you are not home, get home safe. Excuse me, Latricia, you missed it, girl. We out of here. If you're not home, get home safe. If you are home, stay safe, and I will talk to you guys on the 3rd.